If you look inside almost any household during report card season, you will find a familiar scene. A student staring down at low marks in math or science, and parents worrying about their child's future. This diagram shows how we usually measure intelligence, grading the brain on a single line from academic failure to genius based on test scores. But because that top percentage is so narrow, this ruler mathematically guarantees most students are categorized as inadequate. But cognitive psychologists view the brain very differently. They argue that human capability does not run on a single track. It radiates outward in multiple, independent directions. Evaluating a person's worth strictly by standardized test scores ignores most of what the human mind can actually do, setting millions of capable people up for a false sense of failure. Let's shatter that single ruler. According to the theory of multiple intelligences, there are actually 9 distinct ways a human brain can excel. This radar chart plots out the entire spectrum. At the top is logical mathematical intelligence. This is the ability to recognize numerical patterns and solve equations. Next to it is the linguistic axis, for those with a deep mastery of language and storytelling. As we move further around the chart, we enter the expressive dimensions. These are nonverbal capabilities that the conventional classroom setting often overlooks. Spatial intelligence is the ability to accurately visualize the physical world in 3 dimensions. It is a critical skill for artists, architects, and navigators. Then we have bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This is physical coordination and muscle memory, the defining trait of athletes, dancers, and even surgeons. Those with high musical intelligence possess a developed acoustic brain, allowing them to rapidly decode rhythm, pitch, and complex sonic patterns. A student might struggle with algebra, but possess high spatial or kinesthetic abilities. Intellectual strength can exist completely outside the boundaries of a written exam. The final dimensions operate internally. They focus on how we process our own emotions and how we navigate our connections with others, skills that move beyond what is captured in a classroom. Interpersonal intelligence is the capacity to accurately read the emotions and motivations of other people. This functional empathy is a defining characteristic of effective leaders. Intrapersonal intelligence turns that awareness inward. It is the ability to understand and regulate your own emotional states, strengths, and weaknesses. Naturalistic intelligence is the capacity to recognize patterns in the physical environment, allowing a person to connect deeply with flora, fauna, and local ecosystems. Finally, there is existential intelligence. This is the philosophical mind, capable of exploring abstract questions about human existence and our place in the universe. A functioning society requires architects, diplomats, farmers, and philosophers, just as much as it requires mathematicians. None of these 9 intelligences is inherently superior to the others. Let's return to the student with the failing report card. If we look closely at their life outside of school, we often find a capability waiting to be recognized. There is a famous saying that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is incapable. We do the same thing to children when we test them in the wrong environment. The role of a parent or an educator is not to force a child to conform to a single academic standard. It is to observe, identify their dominant axis of intelligence, and actively nurture that strength. When a child is encouraged to engage with a tool or a craft that matches their natural aptitude, their focus changes. The same student who struggled with equations can demonstrate intense precision and persistence when learning a complex piece of music. It is time to set aside the one-dimensional ruler. Look closely at your own strengths, or the strengths of your children. Which of the 9 intelligences do you possess? Tell us your dominant trait in the comments below.